Hi, Fred Keating here at the 99th Annual Vancouver International Auto Show. Look who I found, Zack Spencer. You may know him as Motormouth, and he just gave a great media orientation because he's been all around the world at functions like this. And tell us, well, I heard you'd been at the Geneva Auto Show just last week, Zack.
Yep.
What'd you see?
Well, it's kind of some parallels with Vancouver in a kind of a loose way. That is the supercar show. They have a lot of mainstream cars that get unveiled there, but that's the supercar show. Koenigsegg, Bugatti, Pininfarina, Aston Martin were all some of the highlight supercars. And the biggest market in the world per capita for supercars, Vancouver.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, all you need to do is stand on a street corner here and you'll see a McLaren drive by, a Ferrari. It's just endless. We have a lot of money that's come into Vancouver and they like these exotic cars. Now, the Geneva Auto Show is also for the mainline brands, a lot of European brands, mostly talking about their future technology. And I did a little video of the top vehicles and only one of them was gasoline. All of them were electric.
That's the move, yes.
Yeah, so either plug-in hybrid or full of battery electric vehicles. So those are the major announcements. So we're moving in that direction. The sales haven't followed yet, but they're hoping with more vehicles on the market, people will make that change.
And of course, infrastructure as well, yes, in
Yeah.
terms of charging it up in a convenient manner, in a convenient location.
Yeah, it's fine for people who have their own driveway, they can plug in. But if you live in a city like Vancouver, where a lot of people live in a condominium, if that charging infrastructure isn't there have to be other ways to charge your vehicle. So that's one area where maybe a hydrogen vehicle might be able to work. But yeah, there's so much emphasis moving towards electrification. All roads lead to electric. How we get there and how many people adopt it is still a question mark. Because 99% of all the cars sold in the world today are still internal combustion engines. So we've got a long way to go.
Fair enough. Now, you've been to this event a number of times. What's the arc or the transition or the transformation you've seen here over the years?
Well, I think the biggest difference is the building. I mean, we're in the Vancouver Convention Center West. This building was built for the Olympics for 2010. It was the broadcast center. And there is no auto show in the world that can touch the Vancouver International Auto Show for scenery. And when you think to yourself, well, why does that matter? Well, it's a day out for people. They get to come down here, they can walk around, look out, see the views, go for lunch, come to the auto show. It is a spectacular facility. We're so blessed to have it. And this is the largest trade show that comes into the convention center every year. So they utilize all the glass and the light and the cars, the inside, the outside. So that is changed. And also, as I mentioned, there's been a lot of people have emigrated to Canada, a lot of new Canadians with plenty of money. They buy those supercars, and that's reflected here in the show.
I understand, you mentioned outside, that they're making better use of outside this year for anything from those test drives with the electric vehicles to the theme-based drive-ups every day. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's great because the new technology, the biggest hurdle for a lot of the manufacturers is to get people to actually try it, right? Am I going to want a hybrid? Am I going to want a full battery? Am I going to want a plug-in or a hydrogen vehicle? Well, you can come here. It doesn't cost you anything to take one for a drive. You can speak to the specialist about it. So that's great. That's happening. That's been going on for a few years, but it's expanding every year. But outside at the Jackpo Plaza where the Olympic cauldron is, they use that every day or two for a different theme. For example, they're doing a 60th anniversary of Mini. They're going to have a bunch of Minis here. So it's always fun. And if the weather's like it is today, you can't touch this location.
Tell me about the McLaren Senna, because I know Senna was one of your favorite drivers.
So Ayrton Senna, it's different eras for different drivers, but still a lot of drivers, even today, look at Ayrton Senna as the pinnacle, the best Formula One driver of all time. And of course, he had just a few wins until he went to McLaren. And when he went to McLaren is when his career just took off. So he was so closely associated with the McLaren brand, and it just makes so much sense to have the most track-worthy it's a road-worthy car, but the most track-capable car that McLaren has ever made has his name on it. So that car is here, and I wouldn't be surprised if one ends up being on the streets here in Vancouver. Wouldn't surprise me.
And that's symbolic of the sort of this is its Western Canadian visit, its first Western Canadian visit. And this particular event is starting to get known for those firsts, those unveilings. But I really did want to ask you about, because some people seem to confuse the hydrogen vehicles with electric vehicles in general. And it is an electric vehicle, the hydrogen, but it's slightly different, isn't it?
So what I say to people, they don't know what a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle is. It's an electric vehicle.
Right.
When you turn it on and you drive away, it drives like an electric car. It's got electric motors, and electricity powers the batteries, which power the wheels. So how you get the electricity is different. With a battery plug-in vehicle, you plug it into the wall overnight, you charge the battery up, and you drive away. This uses a hydrogen fuel cell on board. You put hydrogen into the tanks, and then it creates electricity through the fuel cell, which goes into a battery, then goes into the wheels. So it's an electric vehicle, but it's filled in 5 minutes, like your car. You go to a gas station now, you take 5 minutes to put fuel in your car, or you go to a hydrogen filling station, you put hydrogen instead of gasoline in, and you drive away. The great thing about it is it takes a very short time to fill it, and you get, the one that's available here today from Hyundai has almost 600 kilometers of range. And if you had that with a battery electric vehicle, you need a massive battery, but you don't with a hydrogen car.
And the emission?
Water.
See?
Yeah. So you take the oxygen and the hydrogen, you mix it together. A byproduct of that is electricity and water vapor, and that's all that comes. It pees a little on the road. That's basically what it does.
So do I. Thank goodness for rest stops. Tell me, what's next for you? Where are you going after this? Or is this about the tail end of the season?
Well, I catch a flight here at 6 o'clock. I'm going to California to test drive a new Mazda. Then I'm off for spring break with my kids for a week. Then I go to Germany with Mercedes-Benz. Then I'm home for a week. Then I go to Shanghai for the motor show. And then I'm home for a little while. Then I go to Norway to drive a new electric car with Mercedes-Benz. So
I know you've been in broadcasting. How did you fall into this itinerant globe-trotting lifestyle?
Well, it's a long story, but my dad is a retired newspaperman, right? So he was an editor of a national newspaper, and he had buddies who did auto reviews. And I've always loved cars. And so some of these people would come by with these test cars. I'm like, that's a cool job. How do you do that? So when I moved to Vancouver, I had an outlet, and I said, can I do a car review once a week? And they said, sure. So I got connected into the auto world. And that was 1992, and I've been doing it ever since. And in 2006, I switched from doing local TV and radio just to automotive. So that was 13 years ago, 13 years ago now. So yeah, it's great. I always say, sure beats working.
Where can we find out more about Motormouth?
Well, the best way to find me is to go to my YouTube channel. So just type in Motormouth, click on it, subscribe, and watch the videos. So there's like 2 or 3 videos every week.
Zack Spencer, thank you so
much
for taking the time. All the best to you.
Famous guy. Look at him. Famous.